No sex, please, I'm single. For some bachelors, singularity is like a religion. Don't you dare to love me, I've had quite enough of love by sticking to the only safe one, loving just myself. I don't need any trespassing into my mind integrity and singularity, since sex is just a mortal exercise, destroying friendship and relationships, since no one marries anymore, except for masochistic separation and the sufferings of self-inflicted trauma. So I must advise you not to love me, so that I can love you even more. The loveliness of you is like a dream of you that lasts forever, which you never want to quit, but only wish to stick to, like to some eternal energy that constantly renews you, making you more active and alive for every moment of your life, as long as you remain in dreams, to never more wake up. The only possible awakening just being finding out that you no longer can wake up. Inevitably, what distances could ever separate us, and yet are we separated by the cruelty of distances that cannot reunite us for at least a year or more, with threatenings of even more, wherefore my heart is bleeding, evermore in tears for long-lost friends and friendships painful to remember, for their intimate profundity of love that had no chance to manage and survive, the cruelty of winter coldness stealing into hearts of men, allowing cruelty to steal into society and kill the true love of our minds with cold indifference and insensitivity. And yet you are still there, like me, just waiting for the reunification of the true love of our minds and for another spring of truth and love with beauty that inevitably always must return. Universal night of love. O night of love, how beautiful you are in your eternity of beauty ever growing like the universe of infinite expansion, of not just one bang but banging on forever, with all those black holes of love that ever bring forth other universes of eternal love, that evermore remain the only force of light and love that lighteth up the universe to keep it going on for all eternity, at least so far. Adoration. My beloved friend, our distance is some light years, maybe more, and yet we are within each other, constantly forever, never to return to earth or to mortality, since only true love is eternal, like virginity, if it survives, the symbol of which is your splendidly long hair that never ceases to entangle me, like some of you are equally entangled and obsessed by men that wear long hair. But I have never touched you, only loved you, true love being all too sacred to my heart to ever be imperiled, set at risk in any way. And I believe that love can never be more true and lasting than when it is firmly anchored in the adoration of the beauty of your soul. The night of love and ecstasy. It was the longest night of love and ecstasy, of triumphs and exhilaration, of divinest satisfaction and the glorious victory of never reaching home and still be so victorious in endless happiness completely out of our minds, as if the whole world of a sudden had transformed into a paradise of new renaissance breakthroughs and discoveries in space of new and better worlds, inhabitable and quite within reach for mankind to continue her expansion like our love forever, and it did not even hurt. I will say only this, like I so long have been so true to you, I know now it will be bilateral, remain so, and I shall be always satisfied. Hjärtats sång. Sjung mitt hjärta ut din smärta med din glädje och din sorg, men låt ditt hjärta alltid sjunga och den vackraste av alla sånger är den rena sorgens som ej någonsin kan ta slut, men bara måste sjunga vidare av fröjd och smärta. För så länge som man lever, ty när sången din tar slut, är även livet slut. Happiness, you hide behind your beauty, veiled in mystery and sealed up in your secrets, like our love mysterious, unfathomable in profundity, and inescapable in actuality, our common life and meaning of our lives, the glory of our happiness, and endless joy of simply being close together and inseparable. What more could we need? We live in paradise in our love, but we can only spread our happiness by so remaining unknown in the mystery of our secret. Friendship. Love is risky and momentous, since you never know what is to come of it. A lovely dream to fly away with, flee into, abandoning yourself completely, to a temporary, unpredictable ideal that must eventually end up in unavoidable awakenings into reality, while friendship is the only safe and perfect bet, a base to build on for a lifetime and forever, which in no way does exclude the possibility and utmost joy of love. In fact, true friendship is the very essence of a perfect, lasting love, and only if you have that friendship, love could really last forever. Ecology for survival. The flood of light is overwhelming us in overwhelming force of love to bring a new age, neutralizing all the rotten business of mistakes and all historical disgraces, bringing nature back to rule and man away from madness. Nature is to be restored in splendid freedom as of old, to educate and chastise man for all his egoist insanity and hubris, clearing up the planet of his dirty spills, and thus shall nature reclaim earth, and man be taught a lesson for eternity. Intimate infinities. The sign of love is more than just a feeling. It is destiny itself intruding in your life, with over-evident manifestation, shocking miracles, and revolutionary turns that must inevitably change your life into a new direction of a new established love. I don't know how you did appear from nowhere, but you undeniably are there, and I can never leave you, since the risk of any harm or torture is excluded from the start between us, which provides us with a world of possibilities. So let's just keep that course, abandoning ourselves to joys of love in this new universe between ourselves of intimate infinities of love. Endurance. The bitter separation of farewell is like a forced commitment to asylum, or into a painful exile of no visible or knowledgeable end, and bitter tears will flow to wash all oceans, until the return to source of lasting love in friendship and in truest lovers' breasts will fill us once again with basic energy of love and pride to face all challenge with. The challenge is to always keep your love no matter how much you are separated, and if love is true indeed, not even death shall ever keep you off it. The flight. The only true love is ideal love, overwhelming and transcending all reality and its impossibility, the limitations and the unreliabilities, uplifting and upkeeping all that matters, the integrity of the supremacy of the transcending soul that always like a butterfly must needs break all the mortal flesh to ever keep on wings as high as possible and flying on into eternity. Love is a flight and can but keep on loving while she stays on flying. Is it worth it? Why is love and sorrow so inseparably linked, in closer intimacy with each other than almost any other human feelings? Must love always lead to worries without end and sorrows without bottom? Is that really unavoidable and natural, inevitable consequences of delights of love? I cannot answer that, but I am afraid that in all my experience I never had a glimpse of any contrary to all that love resulting but in woe. But it is beautiful, and that might be its ultimate salvation and reward. And of such wonder is that beauty, that whatever woe and sorrow would be worth it, even every pain and worry, torment and despair. So just accept it and go on, and follow love's course bravely on the road to any trial and perdition. But you will survive and be rewarded for as long as you stay on as a lover. Quiet declaration. Let me not trespass in my daily visits to your precious side, nor come too close when it is night and I once more can't do without you, but must steal into your soul to stay there warming up my tenderness and love for your prevailing beauty and the wise profundity of your immortal soul. Methinks I have already loved you for some moderate eternity, and I'm always ready for another one of only love of you. The black hole secret. The origin of creativity is always but humility, to serve and not be seen, to give without demand, to love in one way only, not expecting to be loved. And that way you will find a way to an entire universe of creativity and love from just a basis of humility, originating in a bottomless black hole, forever spewing forth infinities of love and stars and nebulae, the ever irresistible Big Bang of love, at bottom just a perfect nothing. En enda droppe. Det enda som behövs är blott en enda droppe till all världens oceaner, som ett bidrag till att inte låta oceanerna försvinna. Men den enda droppen är då desto mera viktig, då den är personlig. Ingenting är viktigare, ty den oceanen är all världens kärlek, varför varje droppe är så viktig, då just denna ocean ej någonsin får torka ut. Och viktigast av allt är därför att varenda en av oss åtminstone en gång kan gråta blott en enda tår, en enda droppe som ett bidrag, så att kärleksoceanen aldrig torkar ut. One drop of love. All you need is just a single drop into the ocean for a contribution, not to let the oceans vanish or run dry, but that one single drop is utterly important, since that ocean is the world of love, and every drop is needed not to let the oceans vanish or run dry. And that is why it is so mightily important that we cry at least one drop of love. No hope as yet, as my love of you is only getting worse, expanding me to death and overstrain, in constant spiritual exhaustion. Your obsession is a haunting spectre, never leaving me alone, but always edging me along, in constant worries and unease, and there is never any cure for love. So keep the whirlwind roaring, hunt me down if you can make it, and I'll just keep on running, chasing you as well, through all the torturous unrests of hell, with just one single hope, like some faint light in the far end of this, the darkest of all tunnels, that of one day maybe reaching some kind of a settlement. Lover in disguise, you'll never even get the chance to get at my identity, or to at all suspect me of what I really am. And thus my freedom is complete, to fill my universe of love with affluence of generosity. For that perverse, atrocious love that haunts me, never to leave me in peace, demanding ever overstrained expansion unto death and beyond. But, as people say, in love and war there are no rules, but only limitless allowances for anything. The tolerance of freedom is atrocious, and I claim that privilege to go on loving you in safe disguise as anything but that exaggerated lover that I am. Memories of my first love. Although this was written more than 3 years ago, for some reason it was never published before. You bring me back my first love just by your existence with your long, amazing hair, exactly as my hippie bride of 30 years ago, who just like you enchanted all her world and made all men go drown themselves in craziness. Since then, nothing has changed at all. I am still young and green, naive and potty, and consider the whole world my own, since it is dancing all just for my love. And I am omnipotent as a lover, since I have you for my love, the only goddess of eternity, who keeps my love alive forever, just by existing as my first perpetual love that never dies. En gammal musikers klagan. Den ljuva tystnadens musik är som en balsam för min själ, i mitt utslitna ålderstigna tillstånd, handikappad och martyriserad av allt oljuds barbari, det hårda, onaturliga och destruktiva barbariets hysteri och stressoväsen, ljudmiljöförstöringen som överträffar all tortyr, då endast den musiken är naturlig och perfekt som kommer ut av tystnaden och all naturens stilla ackompanjemang. Låt mig få vila där i otseglig isolerings härlighet, i fulländningens säkerhetsmiljö, där man i stilla ödmjukhet i evighetens oändliga djup får höra universums renaste musik i tystnadens totala skönhet. Creation. The key to creativity is nothing but humility, to serve and not be seen, to give without demand, to love in one way only, not expecting to be loved, and that way you will find a way through your own universe of love to foster it, create it and maintain it, like a secret garden of your own, of only love, of infinite expansion. But the key is absolute humility, to concentrate on love alone without expecting any feedback. The urge of passion. The passion of my heart is neither to be quelled or quenched. The voice is singing loud and cannot be put down or quieted. For it is honesty of nature only, crying madly for a break and outlet, with the urge of natural necessity for justice, acceptance and acknowledgement, which love needs desperately all the time for its survival, and the urge of its continuous expansion, which is nothing less than just a natural demand and force of the most universal kind of all eternity. Thus passion must not be controlled, but must be let alone, let out, and granted absolute and perfect freedom, or there will be never any worse debacle than when love, once set on fire, is refused and must backfire. Seduction, stealing forth from nowhere, overwhelming you with mystic might, endowing you with force and power. Irresistibility is all there is, and all you can do is surrender, utterly, completely and forever. fooled by the delusion of eternal pleasure, and it is indeed enjoyable enough as long as it keeps working. But the trouble is, it is mortality itself. It always must come to an end, and all you can do is to compromise and learn to live with love and death together as two opposites inseparable, and if you can manage that, you might be able to go on as lover after all seductions of both love and death. An old musician's complaint. The sweet sound of silence is a balsam to my ear in my decrepit old condition, handicapped and martyred by the noises of barbarity, the brutal banging of unnatural destruction, sound pollution worse than any torture, while the only natural and perfect music comes from silence and the softer rumours of all nature. Therein let me lie and rest in splendid isolation of the perfect recreation of environmental safety, where in humblest silence you can hear the music of eternity and purest universal beauty. The clandestine lover. Love needs prudence and consideration, which are carried easily too far, and leading into traps of cowardice, but there are always byways roundabout to keep you on the target, so that you don't have to give yourself away to all the world for all your love, and at the same time still remain complete and honest as a lover. But whatever others think of you for all your hypocritical prudential cowardice, your heart can never tell a lie, for all the masks that decency demands, and as long as you stay true and constant to the overburning and consuming love of your bereaved and tortured heart, you will survive and conquer all as the most honest and convincing lover. The risk of wages. The wages of sin is death, but the wages of love is life. Love is then to get away from death, and thus is death its greatest spurner. Thus are all good things that make life meaningful dependent on their opposites for spurning inspiration. The fountain of exhilaration is depression. Nothing can be crueler than the acts of love, and ecstasy can come from lethal drugs. Is this duality then inescapable? Is this duality then inescapable, and must euphoria be dependent on affliction? Well, the only way to deal with that dilemma is eliminating both extremes and leaving you with only boredom, which in bleakness could be worse than any depressivity. And who wants that who wants to live? Life's natural addiction. If love is an affliction and addiction, let me wallow in it then the more, get buried in its abysm of delights, go under in its oceans of generosity, and drown forever in its storms and waves, and never reach the bottom of its deepest grave. For love is life, and there's no other life, and all the rest is just adornments and embellishments of this one central thing, to love, enjoy its freedom, and get lost in it. It's not a sexual thing. It is the joy of giving up yourself in the communication with another. And the sex is really of no matter, but if there are children as a consequence of nature, that is the supreme reward, of course. Refuge. Let us disappear together in a haze of love and mystery, and vanish into mists of dreams where we are free to relish ourselves together without interference, way beyond this universe and all society of stifling rules, where we are free to be ourselves and can enjoy each other in indefinite expansion. Let them wonder where we are, since no one needs to know about it, but ourselves, where we can be together without ever risking any more to lose each other. Adorable unattainability, your beauty supreme, and I can only worship you with awe and admiration for your absolute perfection as the final consummation of the everlasting love ideal, which, though is only philosophical. There's the rub, that I can never reach you, since you are too perfect and too beautiful to be attainable. But let me be content and grateful for the wondrous fact that you at all exist. Demaskering. Det är över. Föreställningen är slut. Det är nu bara att gå hem och kasta masken. Lämna puppan för att övergå till intet, reducerad till ett fladder. Ha blott ensamhetens vingar kvar, helt utan tillgjordheter. Tysta, torra tårar utan färger. Den av grämelse och saknad mättade melankolin, den brustna kärlekens fåfänga nederlag, besvikelsernas överväldigande beskhet och den tysta sorgens allomfattande betryckthet. Någonstans i detta ödeshav av övergivenhet så finns dock du, förlorad liksom jag, fullständigt utblottad och naken inför världens realistiska okänslighet, där ingenting är som det borde vara, och den enda trösten i dess mörka ormgrop är att vi dock har varandra. The extremity of love, there are no bounds, and yet we are in thraldom of our love and its forbidden nature. It is limitless and universal, but confined by human nature, never to get publicly expressed or comprehensible in human terms, since it is too extreme to ever be defined. Perhaps that is the very definition of true love, completely bound in silence, but the more expansive, free, dynamic, and outrageous for its deprivation and humiliation. Although beyond all conventional qualification, we are the more free in love's exaggeration.